Tombstone, Arizona Territory, June 4, 1885.
This isn't any good. It can only cause you trouble.
When I make trouble, it's usually for the other fellow. You've been my partner long enough to know that, Monty.
Kirk, if you'd only use your head.
Walk like a man. Be one.
Until the lawless element is stamped out, there can be no legal trade in beef in Tombstone.
Why don't you print the truth once in a while?
Well, Stevens, we were just talking about you, weren't we, Charlie?
None of your sarcasm, Clybourne. Kirk's one of the biggest cattle brokers in town. When he talks, you listen.
The sheriff's been hounding hard-working cowboys, calling them rustlers. The people knew the facts about Hollister, instead of the lies you print in that filthy sheet.
Get out of my office.
Not till you promise to print the truth.
Well, now that I've always done.
All right, if you're going to print lies about me, I'll see that you don't print anything at all.
An actual account from the pages of my newspaper, the Tombstone Epitaph. This is the way it happened, in the town too tough to die.
Tombstone Territory.
On that morning of June 4, 1885, it looked as if the publication of the epitaph was coming to a violent halt.
Monty, get the boys and tear the place apart.
I have a better way.
The only better way would be to hang Clybourne from the nearest pole.
Set up a headline, Harris. Cattle broker splattered by buckshot. Just what were you all planning?
To wreck the epitaph.
My partner and I were just explaining to Mr. Clybourne that we disagreed with his policies.
Oh, well, that's all right. So long as you do it peaceably.
You ain't so peaceable, running my best beef suppliers out of the territory.
All your beef suppliers are rustlers. Everybody in town knows that.
Because he tells them. You push people around, he turns you into a tin god for doing it.
Get out.
I'll get those two.
Trouble with you is you can't forget your past.
My past? At least I didn't spend all my time in all the saloons back east.
Kirk, you're going at this all wrong. I know all about fighting newspapers. I used to work for one.
You, a newspaper man?
You have to cripple everybody, don't you?
On your way to the Crystal Palace. Newspaper man?
Why do you put up with him?
He's not like you and me, Jeb. He's got education.
If that's what education does to you, I'm glad I don't have none.
Well, they always told me that my editorials had holes in them.
I'd sure hate to see the doctor digging bullets out of you.
Well, now, you know, so would I.
Harris, why don't you stay out of the fight for a while? You know, I'm hurting him. Rounding up the rustlers and cutting off his beef supply.
He'll just bring in you rustlers, and he knows where to find them. He used to do plenty of rustling himself.
That's true, but it was never proven.
Well, there wasn't as much law then. Now, he's respectable, powerful man with a lot of money. He wants control of this town.
He won't get it.
We got to fight him on a lot of different levels. This is important. And so's this. Never underestimate the power of public opinion or a newspaper's effect on it. Sometimes it goes off with a bigger bang than a gun.
You really don't know very much about me, do you, Kirk?
Now, what's there to know, Monty? How many quarts a day you can put away?
I haven't shown this to anyone for years.
Montague Davis. So you did work on a newspaper.
Managing editor of the Baltimore Observer.
How long?
Nearly 2 years.
What happened?
Well,
Never mind, you don't have to tell me.
after Baltimore, I tried Chicago. And I sort of lost interest. That's when I started to speculate in the cattle market.
Lucky thing for both of us.
Kirk, I want to get back into the newspaper business.
What? Oh, we got the sweetest setup in the whole world. Get rid of the sheriff and the epitaph, we'll run the town.
The politicians back east have a rule. Don't fight a newspaper unless you own a newspaper. You can own one, Kirk.
Newspaper?
Sure. And I can run it for you. You can control public opinion, have anything you want. Get rid of Hollister, even become mayor.
How come after all these years you got the itch again?
Each of us has to try to be a man in his own way. If you say so, Kirk, I'll start ordering the stuff. We'll call the paper the Bugle. It'll sound taps for the epitaph and the sheriff.
Maybe.
Well, we got a sign. We're in business.
Finest printing equipment money can buy, right, Monty? Take a look.
I've seen them come and go, but only the epitaph stays in business.
Not this time, mister.
Good morning.
Oh, wait till you read the Bugle, Claiborne.
Oh, I don't mind competition. I only hope your paper has more integrity than your catalog.
Come and get the first issue of the Bugle this afternoon. Free with these handbills. Compliments of Kirk Stevens.
You know there's no shooting in the town limits. Give me a gun.
You'll have to get it. Folks, listen.
You'll be all right in a little while.
It says the sheriff just come up and pistol whipped poor Jed. Doesn't sound right. I know Clay Hollister.
Yeah? How well do you know him?
How well? I know that if Jeb was shooting up the town, the sheriff was within his right to disarm him.
Read the rest of the story. It says that all Jeb Crowley was doing was shooting off blanks.
Oh?
Look at the editorial.
The Bugle believes the one newspaper town does not get all the facts. The epitaph has been suppressing much news. Now Tombstone will know the whole truth. Well, you got a point there. The epitaph's been doing real good. But if we had two newspapers, I suppose they could keep tabs on one another.
I'd like to sell you an ad in the next issue of the Bugle.
Well, I'm spending all I can afford now on the epitaph.
Well, you're paying $10 for your ad in the epitaph. I'll give you the same space for $7.
Yeah? Well, I'll give you a try.
You're a lawman by election only, and that newspaper can turn public opinion against you.
Clay, this is Todd Murphy. Met him up at the OK Corral. He needs some help.
What kind of help?
Had 20 head of cattle stolen.
How'd that happen?
I was driving some strays to catch up with the main bunch. 2 men jumped me, knocked me cold. When I woke up, no cattle.
Where was it?
About 5-6 miles out of town.
You show us, huh?
The afternoon of June 14. 8 miles north of town, Clay Hollister spotted the stolen herd. And the rustlers spotted him.
Here, Jimmy. Let me see that shoulder.
Is he hurt bad?
Painful. Bullet went clear through. Jimmy, if we catch your horse, you think you can make it back to town alone?
Sure.
How far north do you figure the main herd is?
About a couple hours ride.
I better ride along with you, make sure those boys don't try again. Come on, old buddy.
Can't you shoot straight? Like that. Go on.
Well, the sheriff and the other guy drove the herd off. We figured it didn't pay to follow.
You were right. You can't fight Hollister with 6 guns.
We'll get him.
Nobody saw where the cattle went but you?
That's right. The deputy rode back towards town.
You had the ownership papers with you to prove you were in rightful possession of the cattle.
We worked the way Kirk taught us to.
We can turn this against Hollister.
The only thing I want to turn against Hollister is a gun.
Kirk, if you'll only have a little patience.
Stick around, boys. I may have a job for you.
I know Clay Hollister couldn't be up to anything, but just the same, why was he so anxious to get rid of Jim? Where's the herd now? Excuse me. It's up north, if you'd care to look. Clay, no offense. This was just about the rustling and...
And what?
Nothing, Clay. Nothing.
Gentlemen, I read your little story. So did everybody else in town. Our circulation's improving every day.
You say these rightful owners were deprived of their cattle?
That's what they told us. They showed us papers to prove it.
In other words, you're accusing me of rustling. Rightful owners, where do you suppose I can find them?
How do we know?
Well, you talked to them. It says so right here.
They left town. They said they were afraid you were going to kill them.
You got all the answers, haven't you? When you lie real good. Watch that gun here.
Kirk. Hollister, when are you going to learn? You know, you just can't walk in here and threaten honest citizens. What are the people going to think when they read about it?
If it weren't for you, he'd be lying dead right there.
We're killing him with words.
Seen this? Mm-hmm. I'll say this. Somebody over there knows how to put out a paper.
Harris, when are you going to lower your subscription rates to match those of the Bugles?
Wish I could. It's impossible. Maybe they've discovered a new law of economics. How to show a profit while operating it under cost.
Well, it seems to me like one man should be able to put out a newspaper just as cheap as another.
Kirk Stevens is paying for the losses of the Bugle out of his cattle proceeds.
Maybe Stevens is just a good businessman. Anyway, you can't expect us to pay extra for the epitaph when the Bugle's just as good. And maybe a little more impartial.
Impartial? How do you like that?
Things are getting rougher, Harris.
Yeah.
Come in.
What do you want to see me about?
Got a piece of news for you. Not for publication. Biggest deal I've ever made. 5,000 head are being brought across the border. I made arrangements to buy them for $1 a head.
I'll get in touch with McHenry in Chicago. Probably be able to get $10 a head for them.
Well, there's only one trouble. McHenry never buys stolen cattle.
Our customers never know where the beef comes from.
Suppose the epitaph started digging into the deal. You got to put them out of circulation. Now.
I wish we could. We're beating them, but it's going to take time.
We've got no time.
Kirk, I hope you're not going to do anything that's going to get us into trouble.
Look, we own the Bugle, don't we? Whatever happens to the epitaph, we report in our own way. I'll be down later on to the newspaper to give you the story.
All right, Kirk.
Well, that's it, Fred. Let's get out a paper, even if we have lost half our customers.
Clay! They hit Fred!
June 20, 1885. Fred's body was moved to the undertaking parlor. Unable to catch up with the gunman, Clay Hollister returned to find that our presses had been badly damaged.
You hear the news? No epitaph today.
Sure, I heard about it. I've already written it up.
Well, this is good. You make it sound like Hollister doesn't want to catch the killers, may even be behind the shooting.
It wasn't easy. I'm not sure you should have done it.
Put the epitaph out of business, didn't I?
By killing an innocent man.
I was after Clybourne. Since when do you care about killing?
I'm only warning you for your own sake, Kirk. Don't take any more chances.
Somehow I liked you better when you were spending your afternoons at the Crystal Palace.
I'm trying to make a big man out of you, Kirk. Please don't spoil it.
First, you make a man out of yourself.
Clay, you've just got to face up to what people are saying.
Yeah, I know what people are saying. The thing that amazes me, Harris, is how they can take the truth and twist it into so many different ways.
You just got to make an arrest.
I gotta have the right man first.
Kirk Stevens or Monty Davis.
I know they're behind it, but they didn't pull any triggers.
Any idea who did?
Yeah. I thought I recognized Jeb Crowley. I didn't say anything because I wasn't sure. But the fact that he's been out of town ever since is...
Found the herd, Clay. 5,000 head.
What herd?
Well, I got a wire from the Mexican border saying a big herd had been driven across, and they wanted me to follow up. Where were they headed?
Kirk Stevens stockyards.
Are you sure?
Yeah. I managed to talk to a couple of the cowpokes.
5,000 head. This could be a break for us.
June 22, 1885. Broker Kirk Stevens' stockyards were bulging with beef.
How are you, Kirk?
Jeb. What's he doing here?
I'll never handle a big deal yet without old Jeb, right, Jeb?
Right, boss. Been together a long time. Well, we got work to do.
I think you're asking for trouble. Suppose the sheriff connects him with the shooting.
Old Jeb can take care of himself.
I think you're taking Hollister too lightly.
I'm not the one that's taking him light. You think he can be beaten with words. I don't.
Yeah. Where you been the last couple of days?
Driving cattle?
My deputy scouted this herd. You weren't with him. What about the other two, Jim?
Them neither. He's just got bad eyes.
What do you think of my eyesight? I spotted you right after Fred was murdered.
You're just making wild guesses.
go down to my office. We can talk better there.
We're not going nowhere.
I wouldn't. He's still alive.
Get a doctor, Monty. If you didn't have that gun pointed at me, I'd kill you right now.
I'm gonna leave Jeb in your custody. I'm not worried about you going too far. You two. You! Come on.
Jeb better not die.
Noon, June 22. We worked desperately to get the press running so the Epitaph could tell the true story of the shooting at the stockyards. The Bugle hit the streets first.
And so, people of Tombstone, how many more shootings will we let our gunslinging sheriff get away with? What do you think?
I think Hollister's got some questions to answer.
We got him this time. The sheriff's finished.
So's Jeb.
What are you gonna do?
He was one of my boys.
The people will take care of Hollister. They'll throw him out of office. Kirk, you go after Hollister now, and you're gonna ruin everything. Everything the Bugle and I have done for you.
You are. When I found you in Chicago, you were ready for the ash heap. Without me, you're nothing.
Don't do anything stupid, Kirk. Use your head.
I like my hands better.
Hollister? We want to talk to you.
All right, go ahead. The shooting of Jeb Crowley is being investigated by the coroner.
Yeah, that's the way it ought to be.
Will you step aside till after the investigation?
What kind of an investigation will that be? There are no witnesses except Kirk Stevens' men and Clay's deputy.
Sheriff, will you turn in your star while we look into this?
Hollister, I want you.
You heard what the man said.
You killed one of my boys.
That's right. He drew on me.
And you're a liar.
He's dead.
Any doubts who shot first?
Kirk did. I wonder how many men he's killed with that trick. Guess we won't need the investigation, Clay.
And he wanted to own the town.
Now all he's got is a piece of Boot Hill. Well, I guess the Bugle won't be out tomorrow.
Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be, whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory. If your past has run afoul of the law, it's a handy place to be. 'cause your future's just as good as your draw in Tombstone territory. Whistle me up a memory, whistle me back where I wanna be. Whistle a tune that'll carry me to Tombstone territory.